Hello everybody and welcome to That's Football. I'm Mark Goldbridge. Man City face relegation for their 1-1-5 Chargers. We're going to delve into that massive story coming out about this. You may have seen it on TalkSport yesterday, so we're going to give our reaction to it. As former Man City financial advisor claims the club will be relegated at least if these charges are proven. So let's get into that. But don't forget, Goldbridge Says Football's out. It's Friday, the podcast for Friday. Looking ahead to the weekend, massive injustice for Liverpool again. Arsenal, what are they doing? Trouble ahead. Check out the podcast. Goldbridge is on there. Some cracking topics on there as well. And also VAR in the mud again. Some disgusting decisions there. All on the podcast. Liverpool injustice, the VAR stuff, Arsenal. Looking forward to the weekend. Goldbridge, check it out. Links in the description. Join the podcast movement. But the movement we're talking about today is Man City. Will they go from top to rock bottom? Would they be relegated? Well, this was on TalkSport yesterday. They had former Man City financial advisor Stephen Borson was on the radio talking to Jim White, and I think Simon Jordan was on there maybe. But basically, this is what he had to say. The current reigning champions who've been charged with 115 alleged breaches of financial regulations, what would be the outcome of this? And he said, this is a former financial advisor for Manchester City. He said the scale is on a completely different level to Everton and Nottingham Forest. There's no question, if these charges are proven, this will end in at least relegation for Manchester City. There is a suggestion of conspiracy over a 10-year period. They're suggesting that City's main sponsorships agreements are not for 50 to 60 million pounds, but are actually for 8 million. They've inflated them, and the whole thing was a sham, and a whole load of people lied. A whole load of executives from multiple companies were in on it. The club also lied to multiple parties, professionals, people doing due diligence to the company. The Premier League, UEFA, the FIFA. If proven, this would be super serious. Nobody would argue that. Man City themselves, in their submissions at court, would also say this is an allegation of the most serious nature. But there is a big but coming here, of course, because that all sounds really, really bad. However, this is what he said. I think they will clear their name, though, because a case of this nature is going to need a level of proof which to him seems impossible to present to an independent commission. Furthermore, it seems highly unlikely that the conduct that is alleged has taken place over a 10-year period with sorts of individuals that are involved in the club that will also be the starting point of the independent commission. For any court or tribunal to suggest that this number of people have been in this dishonest is a massive, massive call. So, interesting, isn't it? You know, I think the key bits for me are that as an outsider, I think not Man United fan, but probably any Man United fan, but any football fan looked at a lot of what Manchester City were doing. And on the eye test, we don't need stats. On the eye test, it looked weird from 2008 to 2018 specifically, how much money was going into Man City. We see it every year. We see it every year how Real Madrid, Man United, top earning clubs, and Man City have been there for years, and you go, I don't understand this. I don't understand this. I walk around, I go abroad, nobody talks about Man City. You very rarely see anybody in a Man City top. I see Arsenal, I see Liverpool, I see Chelsea, I see Man United. I don't see people talking about Man City. How are Man City making the revenue they're making? It doesn't logically make sense. And that's exactly what he's saying there. You know, these sponsorship deals that were worth 50, 60 really should have been 8, but they were inflated because of relationships that Man City had. And I think we all know that that is what we think. I think it. I'm sure you think it as well. But can it be proven? And look, it's very interesting what he said, because he's saying, look, if they get done with this, it's way worse than Everton and Nottingham Forest. Of course it will be relegation. If you're giving 10 points to Everton, you've got to probably send Man City to the National League. But do you have any confidence? I mean, even he is saying, presenting this to a commission and it being, you know, convincing is going to be difficult. And I think just reading it, it's the volume of what Man City have done is going to make it very, very hard for the Premier League to prove, because there's so many charges and there's so many people involved. Sometimes less is more. And the complexity of this and how the Premier League are going to deliver it and prove it clearly has many people with experience in the industry and the legal profession going, I can see Man City being cleared from this because they won't be able to prove it. Doesn't mean it hasn't happened. I've said this on many... This seems to happen in football too much. Innocent before you're proven guilty is obviously democracy. That's part of UK law. But it doesn't mean somebody hasn't done something. You know, if you're out tonight in a pub and you see somebody punch someone in the face, and that person who gets punched in the face just goes to the toilet, brushes it down, and never takes it to police, and it never goes to court, doesn't mean the person's innocent. Just means it's not gone to court, or you know they've not been able to prove it, etc., etc. So look, I think this is going to be really interesting whether Man City get off or not. I think most of us expect Man City to get off. I've been saying it for years. I think they'll get off or get found not guilty or whatever you want to call it. But I will also say, like everybody else, just without doing a stream, without talking to mates about it, I've always observed the Man City thing and gone, I just don't get it. I don't get how they... I get why they're making money now. They're winning trebles, they're winning Premier Leagues, etc. But in the early days, and these charges are from the early days, I'm talking about their first 5, 6, 7 years, I never understood why they were getting these big sponsorship deals. I never understood why they were making so much money, because they don't... Man City, in my lifetime, have never been a club that you go, yeah, huge worldwide fan base. The popularity of Dickoff and Gota is on a different scale. I mean, you know, you go to America and Gota's as popular as Beckham. It's incredible. Like, Man City had no, pardon the pun, blueprints before 2008. They had a very loyal and big Manchester fan base. They got relegated to what's the equivalent of League One and could fill a 30,000 stadium. But they wouldn't be able to fill a 70,000 stadium. That's not what they would do. Man United could do that. You know, Man City can't do that. And to believe that, oh, we're suddenly rich. And, oh, not only have we just found millions of pounds, we found millions of fans as well. This is why the sponsorship deals are so big. Bollocks. It's a load of bullshit. And the problem that you've got here is that if and when Man City do get cleared, I don't think anyone are going to think they're not guilty. I think it's just going to be they got away with it. And that's on the Premier League to prove. So I found it really interesting what this guy had to say, because I think he's absolutely right. We all know if Man City get done, they're out. They're gone. But I think we all know they're too powerful for that to happen. I think Man City are going to be way too powerful for the Premier League. And they're going to get the best lawyers, and the Premier League, I think, are going to struggle, because I think that, as that financial advisor said, you know, you're basically having to prove a conspiracy. You're having to prove that everybody knew about it over a number of years, and I don't know. I don't know whether they can do that. I mean, the embarrassing thing will be with 115 charges, it's like having 115 chances to hit the dartboard, and if they miss with all of them, but if you miss with one, does that throw doubt into all the others? Because they're all intertwined. We're getting into legal argument here, but look, it's going to be interesting, but I've got to say, and I'm not disillusioned by this, I'm not upset by this, I don't actually expect them to get done, and I think it will be very embarrassing for the Premier League. All I would say is, under the current financial fair play rules, I think Man City would have been screwed. So, you know, that's something to take away, isn't it? Under the current rules, Man City would have been in big trouble 10 years ago. So if Man City do get away with it, they've had 10 years of operating under different rules that have allowed them to get where they are, and now no one else can do it. That is a completely separate argument, because nobody can argue that under the current financial fair play rules, Man City would have been in trouble 10 years ago. Now, they've built that legacy so that they can abide with the rules, but no one else can do what they've done. It's an unfair advantage, isn't it? And that's got nothing to do with the charges. Interesting. What would I like to see happen? Justice, really. I'd like to see the truth come out, and I'd like to see justice delivered. But you don't always get that. And my feeling, as with many, has been that Man City will not end up with anything at the end of this. I think too many people are expecting it. Get your comments in below. Make sure you smash a like on the video and subscribe. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of comments on this from Man City fans as well. It's absolutely fine. Look, I'm not going to sit here and be a hypocrite. You know, I feel for Everton fans. I think it's unfair the way their club has been run. And as much as Man City fans are very smug because they're winning, we are jealous, of course we are. So you have that one on us. But also, if anything did happen to Man City, I know some Man City fans, and they're absolutely bang on. You know, they're not, they would be the victim. Of course they would. So, you know, Man City, you've got to fight your corner as a fan, haven't you? I get that. Talking about that, Goldbridge Saves Football podcast. Don't forget to go and listen to it now. If you've not been listening in 2024, the podcast's fantastic. We're talking about injustice for Liverpool again. Arsenal in trouble. We're also talking about the VAR findings from this week, which many of you may have missed. Ridiculous. Absolutely worth a listen just for that. Check it out. Thanks everyone for watching. Links in the description for that. I'll speak to you in a bit. And don't forget this weekend, watch-alongs, Arsenal tomorrow lunchtime and Liverpool on Sunday. Take care.